The red pill movement is going to keep these men in a crisis of loneliness. This person is talking in the X red pill subreddit. He says, I feel like I threw away a chance with a great girl because of red pill. The incident that made me leave the red pill and find this forum, I asked this girl out who I met last year. And when I wanted to move forward with her, she said she was in a relationship. So I moved on. I didn't want to be just friends, but we kept in touch. So, New Year's Day, 2024, I text her and we get back in touch. Agree to meet on a Friday night at a bar. She arrives late but explains why. She buys me a drink but is eager to go play sports later in the night. I felt disrespected as I got a similar feeling last year where it seems like there was something else she wants to do at the same time. She agrees to go to another bar where we can hear each other and spend some time together. I'm thinking she's in a relationship the whole time. Halfway through the night, she tells me she's single. I'm being a complete but using being a complete a-hole using red pill tactics because I had no confidence in myself that a girl could like me for myself. I'm 28 and fighting years of conditioning and confidence issues. I'm behaving and talking like a playboy. So when she asks me how many girls I've been with, I've given a false number higher than the truth. I say close to 10. But the truth is one. She seems put off. Then I go on and say I've dated two women at once. Red flag. I didn't take her seriously. I thought she wanted something casual, so I played the fake role of the player. I'm in shape and look after myself, so I feel I have to play this character. Otherwise, who would believe I've only been with one woman? And that was hardly a major experience. I look like I've been with multiple women. I called her boring and negged her for having qualities I actually like, not partying, fitness obsessed. Why? Because I wanted to create attraction, but also because I felt annoyed of how she treated my time. She even said opposites attract. I over sexualized the conversation with this girl who is from a Spanish conservative background, even though she has had two serious relationships. I thought all girls were the same. I followed the red pill template rather than being myself. Towards the end of the night, I tried to kiss her, not ashamed of this as I made a move. But I didn't recognize that this was not the right situation. I went to pull her in. She was uncomfortable, telling me no, so I stopped. She wanted to talk about her ex, but I said I didn't want to. That is fine. I'm not her therapist, but I was a D to her. I apologized the next week, but since then, it feels like she wants to get back with her ex. Did she even give me a chance? I don't know, but she said she's not wanting to date anyone right now. I have struggled with knowing if a girl is into me. She wants to date with the intention of marriage. What if I was just myself? Feels like maybe I've messed up a chance with a great girl with qualities I'm looking for. I lacked confidence and went all red pill on her and it backfired. I feel so alone romantically and we click so well. It hurts not showing her my real side where I have my self respect but show that fun and caring personality. I'm so frustrated at this. What can I do here? He can do nothing. This is blown. But men going forward, boys going forward, they have got to stop following these talking points because it's not working. And we content creators, women that see this for what it is, we are using their own talking points to help warn other women to stay away from people like this. So they could either change their behaviors or they could keep doing it and have women run away from them. This person says, unfortunately, nobody can tell you if you blew your chance or if you had no fair chance to begin with, but clearly you're not happy with yourself and how you handled the evening. I think your insights are good ones. As of right now, she hasn't had a chance to talk to the real you. She talked to the guy you thought you should be, a guy who answered a few questions honestly, didn't take her seriously, negged her, and mentally escalated her to being a busy, active person who actively tried to spend time with you into a mark of disrespect for you that you had to retaliate against. It's not impossible for you to revisit this, but if I were you, I'd focus on learning from this experience unless she initiates and wants to meet again. And then the OP says, yeah, it's my fault, but I get frustrated at life because I come from a strict background where I was discouraged to pursue relationships and strong family influence, making it difficult for me to make my own decisions. So I finally start to meet women actively and try to pursue this girl. Quit calling her girl. Quit calling women girls. Try to pursue this girl and act like a peen to her just to get to her. Since that day, I've talked to her a few times and we've talked about dating, but she wants to go back to her home country in a couple of years. So I'm getting mixed messages. We flirt a lot, we enjoy each other's company, but I get the feeling she doesn't trust me and there are some compatibility issues. Yes, she's a busy person, but my time is valuable also. I let her know this, but I was immature and said things to annoy her and influence her emotions. I feel we could be so good together, but I don't know how to move forward. I've said to her, I won't be meeting up, but we can catch up whenever we meet. I said this because I can't pretend to be friends. Am I supposed to wait for her to want to date? I have to move on, but I want her. This dude is all over the place and probably should get a, a journal or something. These red pill movements, these talking points are making their brains into mush. And I don't know how they're going to fix this outside of some deprogramming, some serious deprogramming. But y'all can weigh in. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. There is a trigger warning, a very strong trigger warning. There is SA in this video. This person says, I left my Ivy League school because the Title IX director laughed at me after I was raped. She says, I was graped at my Ivy League school and decided to reach out to Title IX to see what resources I could utilize. I ended up scheduling a meeting over Zoom with the director and her secretary. During the call, my best friend was in the room as well to provide emotional support. When I had the call, the Title IX director began to ask questions. Her tone was very condescending and awful, like talking down to two kids in an argument and trying to soothe them down and handle business, not for a serious matter. Eventually, they asked me what the rapist's name was and added, because I'm just curious what they look like. They said all cheery and laughed. I was shocked and just gave the name. Then they said, okay, I see, in a tone that one would use when perhaps shopping or checking out other people, not in this situation. After I got off the call, my best friend and I were shocked. It was incredibly vulnerable for me to open up and report what happened. And that moment felt so incredibly dehumanizing. And like they were treating this as a joke and that it was almost as bad as the grape itself. And it was not just anybody, it was the head of the Title IX department. The school I had worked so hard to go to and dreamed of attending did not protect me, but instead humiliated me in my worst moment. After that, I couldn't interact with the university administration without feeling ashamed and dehumanized. I ended up transferring to get out of that environment and am doing much better. The damage is still done by the way I was treated, but I am healing. I wish I could somehow take action, like doing an anonymous article and exposing the school to speak up and advocate for survivors. However, I know these schools have billions of dollars at their disposal. If you have made it this far, thank you for reading. And for fellow SA or abuse survivors, you are incredible and you are worth so much. Edit to name the school. It was Brown University. People wonder why women don't come forward quicker. This is the reason why. The re victimization of women when they do report. And it happens on multiple levels by multiple people failing them, failing women, failing victims. And so it makes it easier, not easier. None of this is easy. How do you go forward if you are stuck at this place with women who are laughing at your situation, let alone men who might discredit you or not believe you? Okay, this person says, file a complaint with the Department of Education's Civil Rights Office. Schools frequently hire incompetent Title IX investigators to insulate themselves. This is not appropriate and you may have recourse. This person says, I looked at some jobs and you just need a bachelor's. That's crazy. Why would they not hire a graduate level therapist? Those conversations need to be handled delicately and need support. OP, I'm so sorry. Please know that you have some recourse. She responded with, because they work to protect the school, just like HR departments. They could not care less about victims. So this person says, it likely doesn't open them to liability. Generally, people and companies are not responsible for the criminal acts of third parties, like the gRape here. What does open them up to incredible liability is if the OP can show the school was deliberately indifferent to her complaint. Based on what she said, they're doing a damn fine of proving it for her. Edit. I'm an education law attorney, Title IX coordinator for my school district. This person says, money is the root of all evil. That's the saying, and I believe most days it is true. If you believe in lies that are being told and you're a victim, you begin to believe those lies. Where is the logic behind being an advocate for people or representing or a representative of a higher education system that gets its funding for the state? Yeah, I mean, we could definitely speak on this, but we know that money moves these people. It's not that they're doing it for a higher purpose. You guys go ahead and weigh in and let me know what you think about this. So, this is a Am I the A hole thread that talks about not getting enough play, but there's a difference because he has taken a libido decreaser thinking that that would help. Let's get into this one. This one is a little bit different. He says, am I the a-hole for continuing to purposely take a libido decreaser now that my wife has changed her mind? So he's 39, she's 40. So he says, my wife and I have been married 15 years, had a fantastic nookie life for 8 to 10 years, but then we got busy with kids and employment and things sort of fizzled out to maybe once every 6 or 8 weeks. My drive isn't crazy high, but I'll be honest, 6 to 8 weeks was killing me. I felt like the list of things that had to be checked off my wife's list to get things going was impossible to fulfill. I feel like the list would go on and on as new excuses and reasons were added on why she just wasn't down for anything. I was by far the only initiator for the last few years and would get turned down 9 times out of 10. I work and my wife stays home with the kiddos, which works well for us. I attempted discussions with her about the situation and asked what else she needed from me, how we could spice things up, what we could do to increase our romance and intimacy, etc. The answer was always just that she never really thought about it anymore and wasn't all that interested. I know it's not my place to pressure her into things she's not comfortable with. So, after years of this, I eventually started to take care of myself. And she found out one day and flipped out about it. We had a conversation and she requested I didn't do that. I'm real non-confrontational. So I agreed, albeit made me frustrated and mildly depressed that we couldn't come to a middle ground. To make matters worse, I had different women at work come on to me very strongly in the middle of all this. I would never cheat, but I'd be lying if I say it didn't tempt me for a moment in my frustration. Eventually, I knew I needed to do something drastic to keep my marriage strong, and I got with my doc and started to take a medicine that decreases my libido significantly. I'll be honest, it's been very freeing. Now I hardly ever think about it. My wife, however, is angry that I'm not physically coming after her and attempting to initiate, etc., like I did before. She asked me to stop taking it, and I flat out refused. I love that I don't feel negative about the situation anymore because it doesn't preoccupy my mind like it did before. I honestly don't ever want it to go back to how it was before. Am I being an a hole by sticking with it? For clarification, we did go to couples therapy with someone that specializes in intimacy prior to me choosing to get with my doc. I felt like I was out of options. Edit number 2. I've been DM'd a lot asking what the medication is. I take very low dose amitriptyline. Disclaimer, this is not medical advice. Your experience may not be similar to mine, and you may have other unwanted side effects, but for what it's worth, now my DMs can stop blowing up, hopefully. Edit number 3. This post has really blown up. Was expecting maybe 3 to 5 comments total. I appreciate all the advice. You've given me a lot to think about concerning my spouse, my marriage, and a lot of introspection, both good and bad. Now I'm going to wink one. So this is interesting in that he tried to come to a consensus. She said, she kept rejecting him. And then he handled things himself, and she got upset with that. At some point, she has got to, like, I don't know. He has needs, and she doesn't want to fulfill those needs, so she cannot be upset that he handled those needs by himself. At this point, she is being very authoritative and controlling, and he is being compliant because of whatever, for whatever reason he's being compliant for. But she can't have it both ways. I would like to know y'all's thoughts, but I am going to do a few of these comments. So this person says, not the a-hole. Let me get this straight. She doesn't want to have sex with you, but isn't okay with you handling it yourself. So you went on medication to lower your libido to get some relief over being frustrated for years, also an effort to save your marriage. And now she's upset because you're not coming on to her all the time because she wanted to keep rejecting him. This is bad. She just wanting to just keep rejecting someone sounds terrible. This and then she ends it with mixed match libidos are a marriage killer. Very few survive, but you've taken a step more than most would to save your marriage. I don't know many men who would go on meds to lower their drive. Most would either want to open the marriage or divorce. This person says she's mad she can't deny him, I think. This person says, this is the craziest thing I've read on the internet today, and that's saying something. Exactly. This is an am I the a-hole thread that I wasn't expecting. This person says, this guy cannot even self-pleasure. Like, what kind of selfish wife is that? This person says, I still think that's nothing compared to asking him to go off his libido killing medicine so he chases her again so that she says no. Just picture her actually telling him, no, you should come beg me so I can say no. I don't like it that you're not miserable because I keep rejecting you for nookie. That's wild. And then demand that he not self-pleasure. I can't get over that. Neither can I. This person says, not the a-hole. Coming from a wife of 12 years, I'm really struggling to see your wife's point of view here. I'm a wife of 10 years and I'm struggling as well. She says, in that you've come up with two solutions to this problem, and both she's not happy with. Info. What are the conditions she's asking for? He says some completely reasonable to be honest. Wants romance, wants communication, wants emotional intimacy as well. But then the list gets added to. Kids have to be 100% asleep. I can't have said anything remotely construed as negative or impatient in the preceding weeks. She can't have too many stressors on her mind. Can't be too tired. Has to feel confident. House has to be clean. And the list goes on. She's an amazing person. Couldn't ask for a better mother to our children. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't being a prick on this issue and couldn't see it. The whole he can't have said anything wrong in the preceding weeks, and she's a mom and she can't have too many stressors. We have stressors every day. That's completely unfair. All right, I think that's enough for you guys to be able to say if he's the a-hole or not. In this case, in this very rare case, he is totally not the a-hole. She's being controlling and mean and not caring about his needs as well. And he seems like he is actually caring about hers and wants to have a healthy marriage. But y'all can weigh in on this one, not the a-hole from my perspective. Like, comment,